Political independence has no meaning if it is not accompanied by rapid economic and social development. Those are the words of the late great Papa Patrice Lumumba. Hello and welcome to it. This is hashtag Africa. I'm Tutuzile Ramela. We start with this. The International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies say Mozambique is a ticking time bomb for waterborne diseases. Thousands of people have been crowded into makeshift camps after a powerful cyclone hit the country 2 weeks ago. Cyclone Idai made landfall in Mozambique's port city of Beira, packing winds of up to 170 kilometers an hour. The powerful storm went on to cause catastrophic damage in neighboring Zimbabwe and Malawi, killing nearly 700 people and leaving hundreds missing.
Cholera cases have been reported in the Mozambican city of Beira after the catastrophic cyclone Idai. It's placing hundreds of thousands of people in makeshift shelters at high risk of disease.
The transit and shelter facilities are not good, to be very honest. Some of them are even horrendous. The one I visited, one of them I visited was in a school. 3,000 people in a school of 15 classrooms, and the school itself is half flooded, and there are only 6 toilets, for all those people. So it's not an exaggeration when I say that we're really sitting here on a water sanitation hygiene ticking bomb, because there could be, some high risk of waterborne diseases, like we know them most of the time in these kind of disasters. Of course, one think of cholera, one think of typhus. But Mozambique is also a malaria endemic country.
Let's get you the latest on this. I'm joined from Kenya, Nairobi, by Crystal Wells. She speaks for the International Committee of the Red Cross. Really appreciate your time on the program. Crystal, perhaps we can start with how relief efforts are progressing.
So I would say that we still are grappling with the full scale of this cyclone. I think you're seeing improvements in some areas, like in Beira. In Mozambique, electricity is intermittent, but it's coming back on. We're seeing major road arteries in Mozambique start to open up, which is obviously good news in terms of delivering assistance. But the reality is that many of these communities that were so badly affected are in very remote areas, and they still remain cut off. And many of them, the only way to reach them is by air or traveling very long distances by road. I mean, to just give you an example of something that happened yesterday, we had a team going out to a remote community called Dombe to help assess the needs in terms of forensics and the management of the dead. And our land cruiser couldn't get through, it got stuck, and they ended up needing to spend the night in the field. They're in that community today, but it's just going to be a long, slow, grinding process to get relief out to some of these most remote places. Absolutely, a long-term process. Let's talk about someone who's watching, who's perhaps thinking, I'd like to find out whether my family is safe or where my people are. You do have a website where you can put in someone's name and it will help you track where they are. We have. So the International Committee of the Red Cross has created a website in English and in Portuguese that is entirely dedicated to helping people basically reconnect with family members. So you can go on the website and register yourself as safe. You can also register that you are searching for someone. And basically, we have a team that manages the data on the back end of that website. And we compare constantly when new information comes into it. And if there's a match, then we're able to contact people. And that website is called the Family Links website of the ICRC. We really appreciate your time, Crystal, and giving us the latest on that. Crystal Wells speaks on the behalf of the International Committee of the Red Cross. At the same time, various artists from the continent have pulled together and are raising funds to help those most impacted by Cyclone Idai. To tell us more on this, I'm joined in studio by Morera Chongisa. He's a Mozambican jazz artist. Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, you are Mozambican born and bred, and to see the level of devastation in Beira, how does that even make you feel?
It makes me worried. Sad, but at the same time, I see a great opportunity. Unfortunately, in the middle of this sadness, we have to be a bit cold and look at an opportunity for us to look at ourselves and see what can we do in order to reduce the damage if this happens again. And being a musician, I think the first thing I see is education. And when I speak about education, I'm speaking about basic education with regards to communication amongst communities. And I'm not looking at Mozambique, as we spoke about at Beira. I'm looking at other parts in Africa. Right. Because, our populations are all over, spread all over. And some live close to rivers. So there's many aspects of this exercise that is happening in Mozambique, or better, of this incident in Mozambique, that we can learn and that somehow look at it as a case study to share with other countries. And
let's talk about that initiative. I mean, you rightfully point out that this is an opportunity, and an opportunity for us to self-correct is always welcome, right? Tell us about this initiative and how essentially it will work.
Number one, I have a group of artists, institutions, artists such as Jonathan Butler, South African born, who lives in LA, Manu Dibango lives in Paris, Mario Lajin in Lisbon, Seaport Sticks Mabuza from South Africa, Yvonne Chaka Chaka also called yesterday saying, Mo, I need to see you, I'm with you on this one. The Jazz Foundation for International Jazz Day, they're also it's becoming so big because we need immediate help. That's one thing. People need to eat, people need to dress, people need to be taken care of with medicine. Yes, that needs to happen now. We need funds for infrastructure, and I must congratulate my government. Is doing a fantastic job, and you can see all over the news most countries are helping, and South Africa is a great example. But our responsibility, it's beyond that as well. It's looking this at the mid to long term. Mozambique has a very young population, very, very young population in terms of age. So we need to take advantage of this situation to that question that no one likes to ask: what if this happens again? Are we prepared for this? Yes, we have the help today of South Africa, of Portugal, of the United States, of China. So in the news yesterday, everyone is supporting the top organizations in the world. But at the end of the day, as Mozambicans, as Africans, I think it's time for us to come and put our conscience in our mind and say, let's look at this from a different angle, because there is an environmental problem here. Number one, are we living in the right places? Should we be living in this area? And this is a very complicated situation, and we want to use the idiom and the vocabulary of jazz and music in general to speak about it. Fortunately, with the connections we have around the world, we have musicians living all over the world that are now supporting this.
Yeah, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Hey, for Africans, by Africans. It's a great initiative. Perhaps, I'm not sure just how far and wide details are. If someone is looking at this and they're saying, I definitely want to come watch that, not just to see the performances, but to support.
Yeah, the idea is very simple. They can contact us through my social media pages and through my website. And already yesterday we're getting dozens of emails from people who wanted to help. I gave an example. Maybe you have a retired teacher who says, I've got 4 months of sabbatical. I can pay for my ticket. I want to go to Beira and spend the 4 months. Maybe. And this person can contact us, and we will liaise and contact with INGC in Portuguese, which is the National Institute for Disaster Management, that because we are working with them. Do you understand? Like everybody else. And we can liaise with the Ministry of Education, which we have a relationship. So it's another add-on, using jazz as the platform, jazz as an idiom, jazz as this art form that has gone for the 150 years through all transformations of humankind, technology, and bringing the aspect of positive living, positive change, peace, love, respect. So that's what we're doing.
Building on a great foundation. How do I say thank you? Muito obrigado.
Fala bem português.
There you go.
Fala bem português.
Thank you very much for coming through to chat to us on #Africa. Moreira Chongwisa, he is a Mozambican jazz artist. Do stay with us. When we return, the latest on the situation in Algeria.